Hello Internet, Michael Bertolini here, and I'm back to you with another video. This time we're talking about creating characters for role-playing. We're going to start with Dungeons & Dragons. You can create a D&D profile on most platforms, but for ease of use, I'm just going to create it using DNDBEYOND. That's D, letter N, D, beyond.com. You need to sign up with a Twitch account. They are free accounts to set up. It's relatively easy. If you have any questions, there's help functions and frequently asked questions. Let's get started. I have the basic character name, Michael's character. And at that point, we have to decide what our character preferences are going to be. Now we can put in Critical Role content for this. If you've never seen Critical Role, it's a fantastic group to watch somewhat famous voice actors play D&D. You can watch it on Twitch and on YouTube. You just do a search for Critical Role and find that. I'm just going to set this character up to use all kinds of content. Eberron content advanced. Now this one's important. This is something that your dungeon master determines more than you. But it's based on advancing your character. Is it done through milestones or experience points? Milestones, such as events set in place by the keeper, or not the keeper, by the dungeon master, or XP, which, experience points. How many points you get for defeating monsters. I tend to personally prefer experience points because experience. Encumbrance. Again, something that the Dungeon Master decides more than anybody else. When you're carrying stuff in the game, does that weight matter? Most times, it does matter. It will affect your movement rate, how much you can carry, all that. Some Dungeon Masters don't use encumbrance. Some use the variation, the other methods, whether they be homebrewed content or other optional ways of running this through the DM guide. The DM will decide this and should tell you well before the start of the game. But I use encumbrance, the basic rules. Coin. I think coin has a weight. You can't get rich and not suffer any kind of physical consequences. So, coins, they have the weight. Hit point type. This is something that you can decide. How brave are you? The fixed amount, which will always be entered based on your character class. Well, manual is you take the dice yourself, you roll them yourself, and you're suffering the consequences. I think if you have like a multi-class character, you might want to choose manual, only because you can decide which class you want to roll for. Whichever class it's up to you. It's a personal decision. I'm just going to stay with fixed. And ability score modifiers. This is just how you want this character sheet to display. This is a personal preference. I'm not even going to bother changing it yet. But you can if you wish to. I always recommend that when you're going to do this, D&D Beyond allows free subscribers to create, I think it's 5 characters. So play around with it. See what you like, see what you don't like. You don't like something, delete it, do something different. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Again, more of a personal decision, but private or public, you choose. Now, so you have a basic character, and you decide what kind of character you want to play. Options, of course: dragon, dwarf, which has the subraces of hill and mountain dwarf, elves, which have subraces of Eladrin, high elf, or wood elf. You have half orc, half elf, halfling, which gives you the options of either a lightfoot halfling or a stout halfling. You have human, which in this setup also includes variant human. We have rock gnome, the tiefling, and the Azamar. Now, if you want to play a character that's not listed here, that's something that you're going to have to discuss and figure out on your own. I'm sort of just to teach you more basics. We go with the human. Now, humans are the bread and butter of D&D. They don't do well underground, no dark vision, nothing special about them, but they're prolific. They tend to rule the world. So anyone starting out playing D&D, chances are human is your best option. What you do from there is up to you. So you do your class. Barbarian, Bard, Bloodhunter, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard. Wow, some choices. This is like one of your first real choices of the game. I'm gonna go just to show you. Fighter was the first character class I ever used in D&D, and I still like to go back to it every now and then. Fighters, barbarians, they are tanks. They like to physically hurt things. If you go on D&D Beyond, it will tell you all of the basic information that you would find in the Player's Handbook. If you want to read some of this stuff, pause the video or go on to D&D Beyond yourself and you can read all this. So I'm going to add the class of fighter. Starting out at level 1. So your HP. Starting out, fixed, 10 points. If for some reason you want to start your character off less than perfect, you can overwrite it to whatever you need it to be. But starting out, your character is going to probably have the max amount of hit points possible. So it's up to you. Now, D&D Beyond will tell you everything that you need to choose. And starting off, proficiencies. Now, these are what you're proficient in. And what you're not proficient in. You have to... It'll tell you these are the skills to pick from, and then how many options you get. We're going for a fighter. I think perception is pretty keen on all classes. Just sort of how well you are able to see something happening. Whether it's just something happening around you. Just like insight. Yeah. Pick what you wish. Maybe you don't want perception or insight. So you can leave them alone. You don't have to worry about it. Pick something different. If you want to know more about skills, you can ask your dungeon master or read the player's handbook. Fighting style. What kind of fighter are you? Do you use bows and arrows? Are you more defensive? Are you more dueling? Do you like great weapons? I think this character likes great weapons. And of course, it will explain to you what that fighting style entails. Oh. Other features. If you got multi-class, this is the option, this is the way to do it. But since I'm just going on, now, when you set up a character, these are the three options. First, determining your abilities. Standard array, point buying, or manually entering all the skills. For purposes of this video, I'm going to do the standard array. Now, when you're doing this, it's important to know where your character's skills lie. And it'll fill everything in for you. But when you pick your class, it tells you what the most important scores are for your abilities in that class. So, strength 15. That determines how hard am I going to hit. Constitution is also a good one. That's how many hit points I get per level and how long am I able to stay standing. You have dexterity, how good you can move, use bows and arrows. My character is not going to be so much of a ranged fighter, so I'm going to go and limit it to a 10. We have intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Charisma is how much people like you. Whether you're a charmer, or you're ugly, or you just don't, maybe you just don't know how to talk to people. Not really important to a fighter. So I'm going to lower that one to keep that one as the 8. Anything below a 10 will suffer a penalty. So keep that in mind when designing your character. If you had done point buy, you might have been able to lower strength down to boost charisma up to a 9. All of the other intelligence and wisdom, lower them a little bit to boost up charisma, if that's what you wanted to do. Intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence, how smart you are. This applies most of your skills into intelligence. Wisdom, how wise you are. My last option, 12. It's not extremely important for fighters to use wisdom because that's a lot of magic uses wisdom. But it's a good skill to have. Some skills do require wisdom, and maybe you just don't want to be entirely stupid. And if you go down, yeah, it has calculated everything. And here are your total scores. So let's do like charisma, which I'm at right now. Base score of 8. It's got a -1 modifier. Told you there would be a penalty for going below 10. But because I'm a human, I have a +1 racial bonus to it, which cancels that out. And in the end, it's gonna boost my score up to 9. So maybe if you didn't really understand that. 8 was my base score. 1 was the racial bonus. I score up to 9. The modifier to that is -1. -1 to all charisma checks. For wisdom, I have 12. I have a +1 racial bonus for being human, which brings up to my total score up to 13, which gets me a +1 bonus. Now, background. You can choose one of the optional backgrounds here or create something entirely up to you. That is, in the end, your opinion about what you do, how you do things. If you choose one of the backgrounds that is suggested, it'll generate this background for you. This is something that the keeper will want to know because they might be able to weave your character's background into their narrative. This is just for a fighter. When gambling, what kind of games is he good at? I'm just going to throw dice. And you see, if basically because I chose a soldier background, I get military rank. I have to stop doing that. That can help you in some social skills with other soldiers. And some suggested characteristics. Now, you can pick any two that you like or randomly roll. And it'll tell you at the top, it'll tell you, like I said here, just use two. So you go through and you have to decide which ones you want. I kind of know which ones I want. There we go. Now, you're only able to carry, you have 3 magic items that you're attuned to. You might be able to have more than that many magic items, but you won't be, you can only attune to 3. When your character finds a magic item, some magic items require attunement, some do not. If it requires attunement and you have 3 attuned items already, you can discard, you can unattune from one item to attune to the new one, or just not bother with the new one. You won't necessarily get all the benefits that go with attuning, but you might still have a nice piece of gear. Now, when you're starting out, you kind of have to figure out what you're going to get. You're going to start out with some weapons, clothes, armor, shield, all that. And all that, those are the things you're going to have to he doesn't want a blowgun. You can go through this however you want. Let's take off weapons. these are the kind of armors. Armor weight does affect your movements, all that kind of stuff. If you just click on the name, it'll tell you more about. It. Or you can just add it. And if you just go up, go to your inventory, and it'll tell you, oh, look it, I have a battle axe. I have a battle axe and I have leather armor. Well, I'm gonna wield the axe, I'm gonna wear the armor. Now there goes are my 2 active items. And you can go through this for all the items. You can do a search for it, or pick out certain things. Like backpack. Add that. And you can pick a lot of things. There are things that I used to always have no matter what. Sleeping gear, fishing gear. If you're in if the DM decides that you're in a desert setting, you don't need a block and tackle. And see, you can pick all these out. Ugh. And once you pick out everything, you can view your character sheet. And this information, you can take it, and if you want to play a D&D game on Roll20 or on Fantasy Grounds, or you want to play it in real life, you can print these out and use this. If you want to customize it more, you can go back and customize it more. And that is basically it. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Again, this is Mike Bertolini. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to click subscribe on the YouTube page and ring the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Alright, thanks. Have a great day.